Hey guys, it's Faye from Solar Flow and I am back with a new video. Today's topic is a deep dive behind the veil energy read on Jeff Bezos, the founder and former CEO of Amazon. So if that sounds good, please stick around, and if not, I will catch you at another video. Now, before we get into it, I have an exciting announcement, which is if you had seen last week's video, which is on Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, you know that that was not my first pick of a topic to share that day. However, I had recorded and re-recorded and even edited a video and it was still not to my liking. So it kind of got me thinking maybe a video just wasn't the right format for that particular topic, and I turned it into a blog post. So if when you are done watching this video, of course, if you would like to head over to my blog and check it out, I have linked that down below in the description. And after you have read the blog post, please let me know if you enjoyed it. And let me know if you actually would be interested in me sharing some more behind the veil energy reads as a blog. Because I know we all like different things. Some of us like to watch the video, some of us like to listen to the video, and maybe some of us like to read the information. So check it out and let me know. Now, while I'm not going to share with you what the topic is about, I will whet your appetite just a little bit and share that it does connect to the so-called 70% of the population living without consciousness. And that also connects a little bit to today's topic, which is why I'm talking about them together. I'm sharing them together because after you watch this video and you read that article, you will kind of see what I mean. With that in mind, let's dive in. So Jeff Bezos, he is the third wealthiest person in the world, with an estimated net worth of $125 billion. Yes, billion. And I know that's going to raise some questions about if he's in the club. We go there, I promise. Now, I'm also just going to share that everybody's energy is a little bit different. And for anybody that is an empath or anybody that is highly sensitive to energy, you will know exactly what I mean. Some people, when you're around them, you feel good. Some people, when you're around them, you feel drained. Some people have like a vivacious, effervescent kind of an energy. Some people have like a depressive kind of an energy. Some people have like a more neutral kind of an energy. And that's okay. That's what makes us all unique, and that's what makes us all different. Now, Jeff had a very lively kind of an energy. And the way in which I dialogued with him was, let's say I had made contact with his energy, and he was fine. He was happy to talk to me. But he kind of took me, it was, imagine if you will, we were kind of like two friends going for a walk in the park, a leisurely stroll, where one person is just kind of like sharing what's going on in their life with their other friend. So the person that is listening, being the good friend that they are, they're engaged in the conversation. They're nodding, they're going, or tell me more, or explain that. It's not so much perhaps the kind of exchange like it would be a Q&A, like it would be an interview. It would just kind of be more like a meandering stream of thought. We were going for a walk, he was sharing, and I was all too excited to hear what he had to say. And because here's why. He actually brought me things or shared with me things that I never would have thought of even asking. So at the time that he was complete and he had concluded, I was like, there's some really good shit in here. Thank you, Jeff. I can't wait to share this with everybody else. So it might be a slightly shorter video, but it will be jam-packed nonetheless. Okay, I think I've kind of like explained that enough. Let's dive in now. So Jeff Bezos, when I first connected with his energy, he shared with me that he feels high on his own perceived greatness. And it's about damn time too. But this is not coming from a perspective of arrogance or narcissism. It's just more that he always, in the way that he had actually expressed it to me, he always knew that he was great, or really he thought that he was great. But he also felt invisible for years. But no one is ignoring him now, are they? So his sense of the perceived greatness he is experiencing is more in reference to his suspicion that he was great, and that through what he has come into the world and was able to create, it was kind of like a confirmation bias. It confirmed what he always believed about himself to be true. He doesn't quite look down on anybody else. That is not at all the way he came in. It was just more like, I've arrived. I've arrived at where I always thought I was meant to be, and I'm here. Now, as can sometimes happen when I'm channeling somebody's energy or when I'm connecting to somebody's energy, there can be like multiple thoughts going on at once. One of them is the information that is coming in, and sometimes that's going to activate something in my personal mind that will have me ask a question or have me follow up on something. But because it's energy and there's no barriers in energy, it's not like a physical body. It's not, it's not like I was sitting on his yacht having a conversation with him. It was more like a part of my soul's essence went to connect to a portion of his soul's essence, and that's where we were communicating. Because there's no boundaries. It's just pure energy kind of connecting one-on-one. When I have a stream of consciousness, the person that I'm connecting to can actually get they can be activated by it as well. Again, it's porous. There's no you can't look inside my notebook because I've closed it. It's not like that. It's just like we're all open to each other. And very often that's why there's no words that need to be exchanged. It's just more like this telepathic exchange of information. So as he was sharing this with me and I was acknowledging his enormous amount of success, a part of my mind got activated, which was, of course, in wondering, is he part of the club? And he scoffed at my idea that he became so successful because of the club. And he shared with me, it doesn't always work that way. And especially not in tech. So there are certain industries that it does work that way in. Specifically, as we have discussed so many times before, it works that way in music and film industry. It does also work that way in some publishing, and some authors have joined the club, but specifically, it doesn't work that way in tech, which I find very, very interesting. And he had actually reminded me about what I had shared in the Elon Musk video. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen it, or even if you've seen it and you've forgotten this specific point, I'm going to share with you. So this is something that had come up when we had looked into Elon Musk. So I had kind of given this example that, let's say there's a couple in some town and they are slowly working their way up through the ranks. So they get married, and then he becomes a lawyer, then he joins a more successful law firm. So they trade in their starter house for a nicer house, and then they trade in their econo cars for nicer cars, and then maybe he becomes, he's like a junior partner or something like that. So then they trade up and they get an even nicer car, and then they get, luxury car, and they get an even bigger house. So people in the town are starting to notice how this couple is kind of ascending, at least in the three-dimensional. So maybe they moved into, their new house, and their neighbor across the street, he sees the guy coming down his front steps to get the morning newspaper, and he kind of looks at him. He's checking out the house, he's checking out the car. He waves over, he says, "Hi neighbor, welcome to the neighborhood." Then they start talking. And the guy across the street says to him, "Oh, hey, I see you're new in town, or you just maybe moved to this neighborhood. I'm a member at the country club. Why don't you come on down one day and you'll be my guest? You can check it out and you can see if you want to join." So this person is on the premises of the club. So maybe he has access to like the tennis courts. He has access to the golf green, whatever you call it. He has access to like one of the dining rooms. He doesn't have access to the entirety of the club. He has access to some part of the club and some of the amenities because he's a guest. So you can kind of check it out, and the other members of the club can kind of like check him out and see if they want to invite him into the club. And then as he joins the club, I don't know if this is the way that it actually works like in country clubs, but this is the example that I'm giving. So let's say even in the country club, once you join, there's different like tiers or different levels that a member can kind of like work their way up. Because I'm going to imagine, again, because I've never been to a fucking country club, but in my mind, I'm imagining this is the way it works. You want to join it, but you have to, let's say, there's like membership dues. So what kind of membership dues do you want to pay? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to have access to at the country club? Do you want to continue to just have access to the tennis courts and the golfing? Or do you want to have access to like the swimming pool and the dining room? And do you want to be able to have like to host events there and have gatherings there and have like, you know, marry off your children there? So maybe like the most basic club membership would be like the silver tier. Then after silver comes gold, then comes platinum, then comes diamond. And with each level that the person works their way up in the country club, they have access to more and more amenities. That's kind of the way that it works in the club as well. You can be on the premises, maybe you even have heard some of the other members having conversations when you're like in the changing room. But do you really know what goes on in the dining room if you haven't been there? No. So this is what came up with Elon Musk, that Elon Musk was, as he was rising through his own personal success as well, was invited to be on the premises of the country club, but he was not like in the gold member or the diamond member dining room. He maybe had some idea of what was going on. He wasn't really part of what was going on. So this is what Jeff Bezos had reminded me of, that it doesn't always work that way. Not in every single industry. In entertainment, yes. In tech, no. So he also shared with me that no one could stop his success, not even the club. We're going to get into it. So the club just had to learn to accept him and welcome him in. Now, why could the club not even have prevented his success? Here's what he shared. He said his success was inevitable and that in every generation, a few outliers always manage to slip in. And what do those outliers do when they do slip in? They come here to, what did he say? These are his words, to shake up the world and propel it forward in some way. And he was one of them. So, sounds like Jeff Bezos is a starseed. Now, that's not his terminology. And you'll see why a little bit later on in the video. That's not like a concept that he's down with, or that even if I had like explained it to him, he's not really the kind of person that would be like, oh yeah, of course, that's what I am. But this is what a starseed is for anyone that is unfamiliar. There are souls that are seeded, if you will, through every generation in all parts of the world, and they are seeded into those time periods with the express purpose of pushing humanity forward in some way or helping it evolve in some way. But they are volunteering to come in because, as as I hope you know by now, and if you don't, maybe this is the first time you're hearing about this, we all have free will to what are we going to experience in any particular incarnation. Do we even want to have the lessons in this one, or do we want to maybe like have an easier go and we'll save up some of the harder lessons for like another incarnation? So we're not like these hapless victims. We're not like these pinballs just stuck in a pinball machine getting, knocked around. Everything that we're experiencing, everything that's big and notable. So it's not like, on the day-to-day, we absolutely have free will. Like I got up this morning, I put on a gray sweater. I got up this morning, I wanted to talk about this video. I wanted to talk about this topic. But the big things that a person experiences in their life, both so-called good and so-called bad, those are predetermined prior to our incarnations. So just like we agree to those things, if somebody is going to agree to come in as a starseed, it's because they are agreeing to it. Is the life of a starseed always going to be easy? Are they guaranteed to, just because they're helping evolve humanity and push it forward, that it means they're going to have a great life? No. But they're agreeing to it nonetheless because they want to they want to help evolve humanity. That's it. So while those were not his words, these are my words in saying, sounds a lot like Jeff Bezos is an actual starseed. Okay, interesting. Let's explore more. Now, this is where he had also shared a couple of things came in, which again, these are the kind of things I would never have thought to have even asked him, which is why it was like, yeah, I'm going on a walk with this dude. I really want to hear what he has to say and what he's going to share. But he had said that if anybody wants to know why our school system is so broken, it's because they don't want the outliers to come in and shake up the world. So they try to make us come out all the same. And that is one of the ways that they keep us in servitude. Now, why are they doing this? Here's what he had also said. So first and foremost, he said, duh, it's a spiritual war that we are in right now. And to that end, the cabal doesn't know which people that are incarnating are these so-called outliers. If you will, they almost don't know until it's too late. And they want to keep us in servitude, and they want to keep our vibration and energy as low as it can possibly be. And that is why the school system is so broken. They don't want these so-called outliers because they're slipping in. The cabal can't stop them from slipping in. So all they can do is try to get out ahead of it before these people make their presence in the world be known and make their contributions be known. And they do it through a broken school system. Now, this reminded me of a young adult book series. I didn't read the books, but I think I had seen maybe the first movie. And I'll share the name of it because this is what it reminded me of, which is a book series by the name of Divergent. And again, I didn't read I'm going to have to read the books now, but I didn't read them. I think I had seen the first movie years ago. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase what I remember, that there's a dystopian future in which they are trying to classify and put people into any number of classifications. Trying to keep people, if you will, into little boxes, right? We want as little variation as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you into these little boxes because it makes it easier for us to contain everybody when you're in a little box. That's what the school system is. It's putting people into little boxes with the purpose of trying to, if you will, snuff out the contributions that starseed has come to make. And it's because why? The cabal cannot stop these people, these souls, from coming in. They just know that they're coming, so they're going to try to find different ways to snuff out their power. So yes, they cannot stop the starseeds from slipping in, and that's why there's school. You bog young, impressionable kids down with useless nonsense and try to make them come out all the same. And as you know, my videos are 98% channel, 2% opinion. Now feels like a good time for that 2% of opinion. Personally, my opinion is there were some subjects in school that never made any fucking sense to me. I did not understand why I had to learn certain subjects. They just didn't make sense. I was like, but there's no practical application for this. Like, what the fuck am I ever gonna do with this in the real, like, I don't, explain it to me. Okay, 2% opinion, some subjects that just never made sense. And it was like beyond the scope of, I just don't like this subject, so it doesn't make sense. No, it wasn't like that. There was some subjects that I liked perfectly fine, but I liked them. I obviously did better in them. But it was kind of also like, well, I enjoy this, but like, do I really need to be like taking literature in high school? Because this is kind of something I would do on my own. Like, give me a book and a sofa, and I will be as content as a pig in a pigsty. You don't have to force me to do it. It's something I would do on my own. Math, on the other hand, not so much. But again, do you want to know how much I actually use math in my day-to-day existence? I don't know, maybe like 1% of the time. Maybe like when I'm trying to calculate in my mind, like, oh, there's a sale. Let me see. What percentage? Okay, it's that percent. Okay, what's it going to be? Oh, okay, that's not a bad deal. That is the extent of what I actually use my mathematics education for. Okay, 2% opinion. Let's move on from there. So yes, they bog them down and try to make them all come out the same. Now, it's at this point that he had also shared that the cabal acknowledges this is not the best solution, but it does the job. Now, since it's not the best solution, what then do they also do? Because there's still going to be a few stragglers. How do you try to get to those few stragglers? This is what they then do. It's not going to be a surprise for anyone. They poison the littles, first and foremost with these thingies. Okay, they poison the littles. Then they promote sugary garbage foods that have absolutely no nutritional value. And then they create new diseases every day to afflict us with. All right, let's break this down. All right, so the school, they're trying to eradicate any sense of differences in us. These jabadoodle thingies, go do your research. There's a host of information that is coming out right now as to any of the potential negative side effects that they might be causing. In addition to that, this is a big one. This is something I have personally taken up on myself to educate myself as much as I can about the garbage in food and how food dye causes all sorts of like horrific things to happen. So cancer is one of them, ADD, ADHD, all sorts of learning difficulties. Besides for cancers, there's different kind of tumors, inability to learn and retain information. Plus it just makes kids fucking psycho, right? So this was my childhood too. It's okay. I found my way. We all, if we're meant to, we'll find our way. If that was like what we agreed to prior to our incarnation, we will find our way. But yeah, my childhood, and again, this was back in like the 80s when, no one knew anything about this shit. But like, what was my typical morning? Like, I think I had like Fruity Pebbles for breakfast. It's fucking amazing that like I wasn't a terror in school. Some kids definitely are. But did I also have like a major crash after I got to school? Yeah. Was I like not really like retaining information or learning because I was so fucking tired? Also, yeah. Okay. So the food additives, the garbage food that has absolutely no nutritional value that is added to it, as well as all of the different diseases that they are creating and rolling out every single day. Because what's a great way of stopping people's ascension? It's by keeping them sick, overweight, and uneducated. Great way to stop people's ascension right here. And if you want to learn more about that, then I'm going to be doing an upcoming video on like a behind the veil energy read on all of the metaphysical and esoteric things that we talk about here. Hopefully it's just going to tie everything in together really, really nicely. But if you still have questions, then definitely please let me know. I'm also going to link some videos down below if you want to have a more comprehensive kind of idea of how all of these things are interrelated and how all of these things are connected. Because true, I know many of you have been here for a lot of my videos, so these are not new concepts to you, but for anybody that is new, this could kind of be like your first foray into this whole world, and I'm sure that there's a lot of like confusion that comes with it. Like, yeah, like this resonates. I don't really understand it, but it definitely resonates. I want to learn more. So I'm going to work with you on that to try to bring as much information as I can to you on all of this so you can understand what is actually going on behind the 3D veil. All right, now, this is also where Jeff had interjected and at my own personal stream of consciousness, and he had laughed at the idea that C-19 was the most deadly virus ever. And because why? The most deadly virus ever are the ones that we will never actually hear about. His words, not mine. Now, this is the point where, again, imagining we're two friends that are going for a nice leisurely walk. We're going through a stroll through a park. And one person is listening, politely and kind of like, again, as I cheered, nodding and going, mm-hmm. This is kind of where like the person that was talking would stop and would look over at the other person and say, but there's something that I really want you to know. And this is what he really wanted me to know. He's not all bad. Because he understands in sharing all of this, everything that he knows and everything that he understands to be true, how it could paint him to be a horrible monster. He has kids. He knows that the system is broken. With all the money in the world that he has, like, does he want to actually change the education system? And this is not like a judgment. It's not like I didn't challenge him. It's not like, okay, so the system's broken. You're not a bad guy. What are you doing about it, Mr. Jeff Bezos? It wasn't like that. I'm not challenging him. It's just to say that in reality, what has he done with all of his money? I don't know, because I don't research my videos. I don't actually know what he's done. Well, he became an astronaut, right? Like he went to space. He did that. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. What is he known for? He's known for Amazon, and then he's known for sending himself into space because he had so much fucking money he could. But like, I don't know about him making any like huge contributions to mankind. Again, not a judgment, just noticing. So this is where he really wanted to like stop me in the talk and for me to have me understand he is not all bad. And here's why. All right, you want to know why he hasn't made any major contributions? He's about to share it with us. He shared it with me already. I'm about to share it with you. Okay. He's not all bad. Not really. It's just that the cabal makes life so much more enjoyable. Because they have the keys to unlock incredible things, whereas the white hats don't. Or if they do, they don't share them because their message is aligning with God should be enough. So what are the white hats, if you will? They're the healthy cereal with all natural ingredients that are not going to dysregulate your kid. There's no seed oils, there's no food dyes, boring but healthy ingredients. And what is the cabal? They're the exciting looking cereal box with the free toy inside. They have to entice you to buy it because that's how bad it is. The ingredients are so fucking bad, you might even get fucking cancer. But the box looks friendly and there's a free toy inside. This is the difference. So it's not to say that the white hats don't have the keys to exciting things. It's just like, if it's good for you, why do we have to sell it to you? Come over and join us. It's good for you. So yes, the white hats, even if they have the keys, they're not sharing it because aligning with God is supposed to be reward enough. But in Jeff Bezos' words, how boring is that? What's the point in him having all his money if he can't do anything with it? And that he had also reminded me of something that I had shared previously in one of my videos. Who was it on? I don't remember. It might have actually been on Elon Musk. I'm not entirely sure. But it's kind of like to people that have no money and to people that have all the money in the world, money loses all value. It's exactly the same. Because if you don't have any, you can't buy anything with it. Money doesn't mean anything to you. And if you have all the money in the world and you can buy anything and everything with it, it also loses value because there's nothing that you can't have with it. There's no experiences that you can't have. Okay, I can go to fucking Ibiza. Okay, I can go to fucking French Polynesia. Okay, I can have every designer anything. I could even buy all the designers and all of their houses and all of their everything if I wanted to. What's left? So, the cabal has keys to other kinds of experiences beyond the 3D. Because, so this is what he had shared with me. If he couldn't do anything with his money, what would be the point in him having all of it? That would be exactly like what I had shared in that video. He has all the money in the world. He's the third fucking wealthiest person in the world. It's boring already. It's played out. What the fuck can he do with it? But the money is its own key, if you will, to other kinds of experiences that one could want to have. Beyond things in the so-called three-dimensional. Yes, there's things in the 3D that we can't even imagine, I'm sure. We can't imagine it because we're not in the fucking club. We don't know what those experiences are. There's experiences that we cannot have. But the cabal has the keys. And how do you get one of those keys? You pay for it. How do you pay for it? With your actual three-dimensional money. Now, if you want to have some idea of what some of these experiences are, I am going to link the video to, I had done a energy read on Antarctica. And I'm going to link that video down below with the Elon Musk video and a few other ones that I think are going to be useful. If you have not seen those, you can go back and watch it, because it's going to give you just one idea of some kind of an experience that people can have. Oh, there's another one I'll also link, which is on the shape of Earth. There's experiences in there also that a person can have. You need to have three-dimensional money to have it. They just don't talk about it because we're the little people. Okay, so that's, yes, the money that he has is the entry into the 3D. And the cabal unlocks the doors to some truly magnificent experiences on the other side. And what can the white hats offer, excuse me, to combat that? Serves me right for trying to be dramatic. What can the cabal, what can the white hats offer? He can have these truly incredible experiences, one-of-a-kind experiences that maybe like a handful of people in the world get to have. And he's going to trade that for fucking what? For building churches and housing for underprivileged people and all that boring shit? His words, not mine. He wasn't an outlier to do that. Because starseeds have free will too. They came, or will come, still come, to push humanity forward in some way. Just because they're pushing humanity forward in some way doesn't mean that they're good people in their personal lives. It just means they're doing what they came here to do, evolve humanity in some way. So he came to evolve humanity in some way, but does he want to build churches and do boring shit, in his words? Does he want to overhaul the education system? No, because then he wouldn't have access to all of these incredible experiences that he does have access to. And then his money would be worthless to him. So he didn't come here to be an outlier, to do good things with his money, because then he wouldn't have access to these wonderful and incredible experiences. That's what he wants. Free will reigns supreme. Now, this is also where he had shared with me his opinion on a few other interesting people that are noteworthy. One of them being Elon Musk. So he shared with me, yes, Elon's a nice guy, and he gets the free will bullshit and blah, blah, blah. Again, his words. He's not spiritually inclined at all. He gets like the free will bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And Elon made his choice to do good, but he's no Elon. But he also said he's also no Bill Gates either. And then he also shared with me he can't stand that worm. He calls Bill Gates a worm. So look at Jeff Bezos. He's somewhere in the middle. He's not like a really, really wealthy billionaire who came here to do good like a Elon Musk. He's also not a really, really wealthy billionaire who came here to do more harm than good, a la a Bill Gates. That worm. So please, this is him again talking. So please understand, he's really not all bad. It's just that the cabal offers him truly magnificent experiences that make his life and his money enjoyable. Now, again, as I had shared in the beginning, there's no when it's energy connecting to energy, we're all porous, we're all open, it's just like a exchange of free-flowing information. Again, it's not a closed book, it's an open book. So this is kind of where like my mind was activated and I was having some thoughts, and he was answering the questions that I had, which was, he was saying earlier, like, yeah, okay, whatever, the white hats, boring fucking shit, because like, if you're with the white hats, like, they don't have to sell you anything because you're aligning yourself with good. Okay, like, not his jam. Like, please move on. So it's kind of like, I had this thought in my mind once he started talking about like Elon and coming to do good, and then like Bill Gates and him being like the worm and, you know, being bad. My mind was kind of activated and like wondering if he's, you know, if he's an outlier and he came here to push humanity forward in some way. I kind of almost wondered if there was like more that he is still meant to do. And I started to like wonder if it was going to be connected to like gifts and abilities or things like that. Because his mind is definitely out of the box. And he does have like a very, very vivacious kind of an energy. And I was just kind of like wondering that. And this is where he had shared with me. He's not interested in exploring his gifts and abilities, whatever they are. Again, this is him talking, not me. Because he feels that he is gifted enough without them. Look, lady, I made my fucking contribution without these mysterious so-called gifts and abilities you speak of. I don't need any more. I made my contribution, I made my fucking money, and now I'm going to fucking enjoy it. So as always, guys, I hope that you have found this video to be interesting and informative, maybe even thought-provoking. And when you read that blog post, let me know how you see how these two topics correlate and connect. So once again, as always, until next time, stay in the high vibration.